dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdew. I am the suet pudding. I'm in the midst of putting the pudding on the suet. I welcome to the live. I'm going to be playing with the contents of my PLouise Advent Calendar. So if you have any questions about it or that, I want to warn you. Poor Candice Gregoris, aka Wilma. No, Alma Fingers do. My illegitimate drag daughter, and my birthday twin is sick. She got the flu shot, the COVID shot, something. She got shot, and she's down for the count. And I, for one, am glad she didn't come over sick because I just live in fear. I haven't had COVID. Has anyone else not had it? Because I just live in fear that I'm like this hothouse orchid. So I just want to warn you. Please comment. I will try and get to them all, but I can't do everything all at the same time. And also the comments are over here, and it's not the easiest for me to see them because I'm old. All right, so I'm just getting my base all down while I'm letting this just kind of settle. Hi, Steph. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Lady Jenny. Oh, God. Rex Trek is here. God bless you. Dixie Ray. Dixie was here first. Rex, I just want you to know. If you are here, please remember to hit the thumbs up button, and I will get back to some of these comments later. Martha Anastasia is here. Hello, Martha. Yes, this will be a fun afternoon. There's a couple of people that have asked me before about doing makeup tutorials. I feel silly doing them because I don't think that I'm that. I still am learning. Do you know what I mean? Like for instance, in Canada's Drag Race, Near Enough, I was hypnotized by her makeup, and now I'm going to try and emulate what she does with my makeup today. Steph is here. Steph's got a palette, I think on the cusp of release from Saint Angel Sinners. Steph's peer. I can't wait to see what's going on. Chloe's here. There's trouble. Lady Jenny's had it 3 times now. Yeah, but how about the COVID? Karina's here. Hello. How are you? Oh, I have nothing on yet. I just want to let you know I got my Timmy's because before America took over Timmy's, it was Canadian. It's so funny. There's a town in Ontario called Hamilton. It's about 40 minutes west of Toronto. And that's where Tim Horton is from. Tim Horton was a hockey player, apparently. I want to let you know, this is the most I've ever talked about hockey right now. But he is from Hamilton. And so there's no Starbucks in Hamilton proper in the city itself. But Hamilton is at the base of a mountain. But the mountain, like if you're from BC and you saw that and somebody called it a mountain, you'd laugh. You'd laugh right at them. But geographically or geologically, it's a mountain. So they own that in Hamilton. But it's kind of like a plateau. It's just this raised level. And up there is where all the new development in Hamilton is. And there's one Starbucks like literally at the border of the town. But in the proper city of Hamilton, there's a Tim Hortons on almost every street corner, like Starbucks are in some city or used to be in some cities. And every one of those Tim Hortons has a drive-through. And in the morning between 7 and 9, every one of those drive-throughs has a line that goes out to the street. It's remarkable. I think that what happens is people get a coffee at 1 and then drink it in line at the next to get their actual work coffee. Like I don't know. But anyway, so I'm just trying to, I ramble and forget that I have to look at things here. So yes, so Candice is sick and so I'm going to do all this on my own. But we've done this before. So it's not, I always feel spoiled when Candice does it. Oh yeah, no problem, Steph. Oh, thanks, Karine. I look good, makeup or no lies. Chloe's not had COVID yet, and she's a social whore. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. She's always going out though. Oh, David's here. Hello, David. David is the reason I got the PLouise Advent Calendar. Now, I've already posted on my Patreon group page my unboxing of the calendar unedited. Like it is just the footage. And the reason I haven't edited it yet for um, regular viewing is I have to. Premiere program is not liking me. I have to. I was just on the phone with Ryan, my international gay porn star friend Ryan Russell, asking him what I can do, and so I have to get some files off my computer, and I have external, so I have to do all that, and I just need to free up space so that Premiere can run properly. But it won't let me edit my opening, you heard me, of the Advent calendar. And then I'm trying to edit this footage of me and Wilhelmina reviewing episodes 1 and 2 of Candice Drag Race. And the sound kept going. It's very frustrating. I'm just having all these technical issues. And I don't know what it is, but it's like I've never filmed before. I went to edit the footage of Wilhelmina and I and realized that I hadn't hooked up my microphone. But I still recorded sound from the camera, but it's awful. So it's like, oh, no, God damn it. So what am I using today? I want to say, first of all, that everything in this palette is delicious to me. I am going to send, I have a couple of quads that I'm going to give to some friends because there's nothing wrong with them, but they're just small little palettes. And I tend to find sometimes like a quad isn't useful to me. And what I like to do is I'll look at that quad and see if there's enough of that kind of color story somewhere else in my collection, and then I can get rid of the quad because they take up a lot of space. And this was the palette, the main palette that came in the PLouise Advent Calendar. It's called Taste. And what's cool is the mirror has the cutout of the word taste in it. So it's there. And then so this is the color story, and it's very neutral but warm. There's a lot of orange and some of these golds, and they're very yellow and creamy. And all of these dark colors on this side over here, none of them are black. They're all versions of like a ginger or a cinnamon or a nutmeggy color. Very warm. I have the Beauty Bay Nudes palette. Actually, David Burkett sent me that. And I love that because it's not this. This is very warm, whereas the Nudes palette is very cool toned, but I don't have anything like this. And what I love about this box is it was geared. The theme was gingerbread, so they everything's gingerbread color leaning type thing. And Wilma's a ginger, so it's the first time that I've had a box of makeup where literally almost everything was good. I've been using the lip scrub and lip mask that came with it. Excellent. My lips have never felt more luscious. And I also use the face wash. There's a fairly big thing of face wash, and I just washed my face. It's not a makeup remover; it's just a face wash, and it was lovely. The other things we got, there were 6 lip liners, and I love the lip liners because they're very soft and creamy. But the first time I used a PLouise lip liner, I kind of pressed too hard. I had to sharpen it 3 times. So now I know how to use them a bit better, but I've been looking for darker lip liners for the pinks and reds that I usually wear. And I find that the 6 that I got are all browns or gingery cinnamony tones, but they're perfect for pinks and reds because they're warm browns. And they match these. This is the lipstick palette. So they more or less match these tones. There's 6 that could line for this. And I use this palette for the review that I'm doing with Wilma that I'm editing right now. And I did a really nice nude ombre lip on the suggestion from Chloe Demure. And it looked great. So that I'll be using today again. We also have this highlighter palette. This is gorgeous. This is the, what is it called? Bake Your Move. See how the gingerbread, it's on everything. It's a little annoying. But this highlighter palette is gorgeous. They're all gold tones. Even the white one here is a gold tone. But I love them. This gold one here has a bit of pink in it, so it's good on the apples of the cheeks. I love that. There is also, just roll with it, is a bronzer palette. That's what it looks like. And it's all ginger. So cute. But this pen shape annoys me. I look at all the space on here that could have had more makeup in it. Because even with the blush palette, let me get this open. Here's one of the blush palettes. You see, there's much more blush makeup than contour makeup, but I would think that you use more contour than blush. But anyway, that said, excellent contour palette for me. This is, and I used this the other day, and I used like 3 or 4 different colors for the contours. I'll be doing that today. The blush palette, this one, there's another one which is a little more like this is redder, pinker. This is more orange. I like both of these. I like both. I would use this for a bronzer, and these blushes are fine. I still would put I still would want to put maybe one of their liquid blushes, like a pinker or like a more flush tone under one of those powders, and I think it would be good. And as you saw, the big palette. There was also eyelashes, which I've already started using. I'm making a bigger pair with one of them because they were some good lashes. What else? Oh, there was this gold body. There's a couple of these, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them because I don't use stuff like that. But I'm not saying I won't. But anyway, so they're all there. I'm just catching up on what y'all are saying. You don't like Tim Hortons coffee? You know what? They changed it, and now McDonald's has their old coffee, and I much prefer McDonald's, but I don't like to shop at McDonald's. Yeah, poor Candice. Yeah, bless her. She called, like when she called, I wasn't thinking anything in particular, and then it was like, oh, what's wrong? Blends. I've never heard of that. That must be a West Coast thing. Yeah, the oranges. I'm going to use those today. Yeah, the white highlighter. It's really it's very gold when it goes on though. It's very heavily like. In fact, a friend of mine did all 4 of those highlights, and he's a ginger, very freckled. He grabbed them across his forearm, and he couldn't see a lot of difference in the golds actually. So I think you have to really layer them on to get like to see the differences. But yeah, it's a great advent calendar, Martha. Oh, hey Manuela. Yeah, I like that orange blush palette too, Chloe, because I don't have colors like that. And I think those are the ones that I should be wearing instead of pigs. Yeah, nice and strong. Yeah, McDonald's isn't playing with their coffee. Hey Sue. Hey Pay Paka. Pay Paka. Hey, Cole of the Ball is here. Hey Cole girl. She's been posting like a pro lately. I've been trying to watch all of it. I saw your advent calendar opening after I opened mine. I didn't want to watch it until I opened mine. So I really enjoyed yours. I'll have mine up soon. I don't know. Part of me like I do I like looking at box unboxings. Like a lot of the time, the unboxing I don't even want the thing myself, but I just like most of you know I can't be in a room with a box that's not open. And I'm just using my Juvia's Place cream. I'm doing all of my cream foundation first before I powder, and then I'm going to go in. So this is just, I'm not sure why I'm contouring up here because the wig I'm going to be wearing a Denise Cherneau, of course I am, wig. It's my Lucille Ball wig, but it's this big poodle puff redhead wig, and I love it. I just don't get to, it's not that I can wear it as many times as I want, but it's just so specific. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought it would be fun to wear with this makeup. So I'm just trying to shape out my chin here. I also like to put it down the side just so when the side of the wig, it just looks a little more darker there, gives you the impression of a narrower neck or neck at all. Oh yeah, the Lucy wig. Well, if I could just, I need to get through Christmas. I've been sewing for. Isn't this terrible? I can't even find what I'm looking for. And I can't even find what is this here? This doesn't need to be here. This is unnecessary. Ugh. I had a little ceramic bowl with my sponges in it. And it's one of those things like, am I looking at it? Am I looking at it right now and just not registering it in my head? What did I do with it? It's so weird. I just had it. I mean, there's no other place for it to be. Oh, there. Oh, God. It got shunted. Isn't that terrible? Have you ever had that thing where you get like clearly you're possessed by the devil or aliens are taking over your RD2 cosmetic sponge. Aliens have descended and are moving things around, or you're possessed by a poltergeist or something. I because it can't be me. I can't be crazy. But I just have those moments where it's like, I swear I had that in my hand not 3 seconds ago. And then you find out that you've, in fact, never owned one. Ugh. I'm sorry if I'm not keeping up on the conversation. Again, for those of you who are just joining, Candice was sick. She got a flu shot or a COVID shot or both. And she sounded awful. And so, of course, it's like, no problem. Like, A, take care of yourself. And B, I don't want you over here if you're sick. But yeah, she sounded like she like pulled a car with the emergency brake on up a hill. Do you know what I mean? She just sounded done. Done. So I'm just going to try and get through all of this part of. I was hoping to have all this done so that I could just get into it, but I don't like to rush doing the foundation stuff because it can really. And again, if you rush this, it could ruin other parts of the makeup. Do you know what I mean? But also, I don't know why I'm spending all this time on this because the wig that I have comes up quite low on my head. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to blend out that hard line and worry more about this area here. I was debating the whole concept of why is one eye always good and one eye always bad, and I think it boils down to the fact that we're using either our left or our right hand to do all of our makeup, and the angle changes. And so I've been trying to be more ambidextrous with my makeup uh, skills, like just trying to not get too stuck with I was going to say just using one hand all the time. Sounds dirty, but that's basically it. I try and line my eyes with both hands. It also forces me to be a little more focused when I'm doing it, so it's not been doing too badly. I'm using the Juvia's Place foundation and the Juvia's Place shade sticks, but I've realized that I think either they went up in price or I just didn't realize how much they were for the Canadian conversion, or in fact, the conversion has taken a turn for the worse. But it just seemed to be even on sale very expensive, and then when you add the shipping, so I think what I might just do is I used to use the Krylon stuff before, but the place where we got it in Toronto closed. Well, they're open again, so I'm thinking that I might when I start to run. I'm not going to worry about it now, but when I start to run out of this foundation, I'm going to do Krylon again. And then this is the same color that I used on the perimeter, but I'm not adding more product. This is just the product that was on this. So as I brush it on, more and more comes on off of it onto the face, but it doesn't put a big wet glob of it. You don't want a big wet glob on your face. Not while you're on camera. Oh. Lady Jenny, I'm talking to you. I've been having eyebrow issues. I don't know why. I still have eyebrow issues. Oh, the other thing that came with the PLouise set were brushes, 10. And like this is one of the new ones. I have a lot of them in here. What I loved is that a lot of the brushes that were in the Advent calendar, I have, but I also, they're my favorites. Like, it's not like I got a repeat on a brush that I was like, oh, I have to find a reason to use that brush. Like, I was thrilled. Every brush that I had either was one that, God damn it, one where, oh no, oh well, I dropped my brush, so it's gone. It's gone until after. It went under the thing in front of me here. I'm not gonna go looking for it. Life is too short. Life is too short. Here's another PLouise. It's a concealer brush or something, but this is what I like to put my eyebrow on with. I'm gonna do an I'm just gonna, because of the Lucy wig, maybe we'll do the Ben de la Creme brow, shall we? I think that leans itself well to Lucille Ball. Ricky. Does anyone watch Pluto TV? Pluto.tv. It's free. It's you can actually watch shows like from Out TV on it. So the show that I host, Knock Knock Ghost, is on there, and you can watch it for free. But they have different channels. So like one channel is like where Out TV comes on. It's the Rainbow Network. I don't know what they're calling it, but it's meant to be by topic. So one of them's food, and so on. There's different cooking shows, old episodes of Hell's Kitchen. I think on reality, like old episodes of Fear Factor. You can watch. I love Fear Factor. I thought Joe Rogan was such a great host for a show like that because, he's a dude. He was a dude. If somebody was a bit of a douche on the show, he kind of called them a bit of a douche. He didn't care. And he wasn't too pervy around the girls when they had to get into bathing suits, but he was really good at encouraging people. Come on, you only got, faster. I enjoyed the show when it was on originally. And I liked him as the host, but in watching it in retrospect now, I'm kind of like, that was a lot better of a show than I remember it being, like, just from a production point of view. But yeah, anyway, Pluto TV, it's a great thing. I watch a lot of I Love Lucy, like especially when getting my drag on. Also, speaking of I Love Lucy, on Prime, they had that movie of the week or something that Nicole Kidman played Lucille Ball. And I have to say, just for a movie, it was a great movie. Like, I really enjoyed watching it. I would have rather that they hadn't. I would have rather that they just set this on a sitcom in the 50s and not made it about Lucille Ball, because it was distracting how much Nicole Kidman didn't look or sound like Lucille Ball. But everyone else in the cast was great casting. But I really actually did like the movie. I thought they did an excellent job with it. So good for them. But there was also a documentary on Lucy and Desi on Prime. I don't know what it's called, but I think Lucy Arnaz was one of the producers of it, because they use a lot of like home movies and letters family letters and stuff. So that's if you haven't seen that, that's on Prime, and I think it's called Lucy and Desi or Desi and Lucy or something like that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one. I love that Desilu Productions is why we have Star Trek. They put Star Trek and the Twilight Zone and all that avant-garde television they put on when no one else really would, and I really like that about them. I like that that's part of their legacy. Not just that they were iconic members of the television community, but that they also improved the television community. They got some stuff on the air that people weren't really paying attention to. Hey, John, how are you? No, but you know what? I think Deborah Messing could have done a good job. I can see why they didn't cast her because I think they were maybe afraid of her making it comical or coming off as parody. But I think that Deborah Messing has a Lucille Ball quality about her. It's like Susan Sarandon as Betty Davis. You know, people have been wanting Susan Sarandon to portray Betty Davis for decades. Even when Betty Davis was alive, they wanted Susan Sarandon in a Betty Davis biopic or something, and she always said no until Feud came up, and I'm so glad she did it. But I don't understand why they didn't let Deborah Messing do it. Like I think she would have done a great job. It would have saved them a lot of money on makeup. I think one of the problems with the movie was how distracting Nicole Kidman's makeup was. Like it looked like a false forehead. Like there was no hiding it. And I'm not sure if that's because we're just so used to what Nicole Kidman looks like, or we're used to that frozen face of hers, and any change kind of sticks out, or what. But it was I don't know, it was distracting to me. Oh my God, Feud, Sarah, that is the best. I watch that still. Like I'll throw, if I'm doing a face again, I'll throw that on in the background. It breaks my heart, the storyline that they're using, like with um, Joan Crawford. Like that whole storyline about her is just so sad. Um, but that Hollywood era that they came out of was very much built on manipulation and all of that. It's just so funny that Betty Davis was so instrumental in breaking it down and getting rid of it. And you can understand at the time why people like Jack Warner didn't want people to be represented individually and not on contract, because then they had to negotiate every film. It started agents, it started negotiation, it started these crazy salaries and everything. It's madness, I tell you, carpet madness. All right, I think that's as good as the foundation is going to get. I don't even have that much on the table. It's just funny that it's all here. All right. I've been using two different setting powders. I have some Maron setting powder in an old airspun container because the Maron powder case is very small. I think it's meant to get put into something else because it's not very practical. Uh, but so I use them. I save all the old airspun containers because I really do like them. But the problem with the Maron powder is you can't. It'll really stain your face. Like it'll really like go blotchy white on you. You have to watch how you put it. So I try and do it just where just where I want some whiteness to kind of saturate the foundation. So I'm sorry if I hope nobody's had any um, makeup questions because I haven't been looking at the screen, and I apologize, but um, has anybody got any new makeup that they love? I know Chloe's got a couple of new pieces. She just had the new Blend Bunny, not the machine one, but the one Winter Wonderland. That looked really good. Oh, I also would like to just have a moment to show. This is a PLouise brush. This didn't come with this set, but I don't know. Look at that powder brush. Oh. This reminds me of the feather duster in Beauty and the Beast because just the way it moves, it's just so fluffy. Oh, it's so fluffy. So when I'm using this powder, what I like to do is kind of brush out the edges of it so it's not too, because if I bake it like that on my face, it'll actually leave like a white patch, and that's not good. Oh, I also like to, these triangular puffs are the best. They really help you just put everything where you want. I used to just take the puff and fold it in half, so I had that line, but now you can just use the line of this. So like that. Yeah. Lurdy-dur. And then we just throw a little, I've been using the Airspun Neutral Rose, I think it's called. Rosy Beige. Neutral Rose, Rosy Beige. It's a little tinted. It's not so stark. And I like that because I find sometimes, especially for camera, the makeup I put on can reflect quite heavily. And if you're putting this powder on over the white, you're not taking the white off. Do you know what I mean? It's going over the white. So that white will still enhance where you've put it. But so for here, like I like to put extra of this so that I have protection from the fallout if there is any. But setting powder. None of the women in my family wore makeup. So I don't have any memories, smell memories of like powder and that. But every time I haul out the powder when Ted and or Jeff are here, they both make references to their grandmothers. I wish my family had worn makeup. My mom had terrible rosacea and just didn't bother wearing anything. She just got fed up with it. And um, my grandmother, God, I don't think she ever. Maybe a lippy, maybe a little lippy. My aunt, her sister, so she was my great aunt. She had this one tube of coral frosted lips. It was the ugliest thing, and it was down to almost a fun point. She just run it between her lips, and that was it. And it didn't even matter if it went on straight. That was her makeup. It just always made me laugh. Oh, the Obsession bundle, Martha Anastasia. Good for you. Oh, Manuela's planning a giveaway on her channel. Ooh. Well, if you don't follow Manuela Makeup Therapy, then there's a good reason to at least check her out. I love a giveaway. I never win them. Well, that's not true. I won a couple, but um, I don't have the luck that Chloe certainly has had lately. Yeah, John, I agree. Jessica, I don't think, I thought Susan Sarandon looked more like Betty Davis than Jessica Lange looked like Joan Crawford, but I felt that Jessica Lange did a more concise performance. I felt there was more layers to her Joan Crawford, where like, and I love Susan Sarandon. I want y'all to know I love her, but she didn't even maintain the accent. Do you know what I mean? There were just some lines that she just delivered like herself, and others where she tried to, and it seemed to be, it sounded like it was a hard thing for her to maintain. So maybe that's why she didn't always keep it up. I don't know. Yeah, Martha Grunwald has a lot of great makeup. Odin's Eye. Oh, you know what, Cole? I don't have any of Odin's Eye, and I'll tell you why. It's just too far away for a Canadian to order it from, but also I'm not a big fan. I have to tell you, you know what put me off them was the collab they did with Angelica Nyquist. Um, I hated that palette. I tried so much. I had it for 2 years. I kept trying to pop it out and use it, or I'd see someone else use it on their channel. Oh yeah, I should get that. And I always found it patchy. I found that the darker colors in it weren't as dark as I thought. Like the way she was chatting it up, I just felt she oversold it, and so that's why. And again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm not, but I ended up stopping. I stopped following Angelica because of that. I just didn't. I wasn't interested anymore. And Odin's Eye, just because of that. No, Kaleidos. That's the thing she did. It wasn't with Odin's Eye. Sorry, it was with Kaleidos. Oh, so that's what it was. By the time she came around to doing a collab with Odin's Eye, like I'd heard of it, but it was so far away, and I was like, and then she did a collab, and I was like, it kind of made me not interested. And again, it's just my personal opinion. I don't. If you follow, if you buy Odin's Eye, good for you. If you follow Angelica Nyquist, good for you. I don't care. Just my personal experience, or the arc of experience that I had was such that they all kind of created the perfect storm as to why I just don't bother with Odin's Eye. But the main reason is because it is very far away, and the expense of shipping. God bless them. I don't wait well at the best of times, and I don't want to put myself into a position where I'm not waiting well. Like it's like I'm setting myself up to be angry, and I just want to yell at somebody. Do you know what I mean? So, unfortunately, there are just some companies that I haven't ordered from. Uh, what's that one that not Ladybug Glow? There's another one that Teresa Mulhern loves. Their shipping is so expensive, and I think they're only on Etsy or something like that. Um, like there are a couple of companies where it's just like, oh, and this is the thing, like, I bring up small companies because I talk to them the most. Like, they're the companies between Artitude and SAS and now Tori and I from Beauty Moon Cosmetics, another great owner of a great little company, and I've just reached that point now where, like, for instance, like SAS, Saints Angel Sinners, I'll order from them, and unless you do a pre-order, like Darcy gets it out as and if she doesn't, she sends you an email and says, "I'm so sorry this is happening," or blah blah blah. But or she lets you. She's very transparent. Like if the where the place that it's coming from is delayed, she doesn't want to come off like she's making false promises, and I really appreciate that because you call these big companies that have the money you think to be that conscientious with their customer base, and they're not. They don't care. And when you tell them there's a problem, they almost act like you caused it. Well, maybe you shouldn't have. Well, if you hadn't have bought something from us, maybe you wouldn't be in this situation. This makes me angry. I just hate people. Merry Christmas. But yeah, so I really have been enjoying. I haven't been buying a lot of makeup, but the last thing I bought was from Beauty Moon, their Christmas mystery bag, which is right over here. Have all this makeup. I got a great little care package from SAS that I have to play with on camera. I did uh, that the Book of Magic, the Droplet of Magic palette from PLouise. I got that purple one I have to do something with. That was the other thing I was saying to Manuela. I had the purple palette, World of Wonders, and I hadn't talked about having it yet because I didn't. I wanted to do an unboxing or a reveal, and I just had it for so long that it just became like, oh, I'm not even using it because I'm waiting. It's like, ugh, I'm just creating problems for myself. All right, so this is my PLouise primer. I will always use PLouise primer. When I started doing makeup, PLouise, the primer when it came out wasn't available in Canada easily. You had to order it through the PLouise website and have it shipped in, and then Sephora started carrying it. But in the interim of all that, I tried to use other eye primers, and one of them was the Naked. No, so it's the only thing I ever bought from them was their eye primer, and I hated it. It made my eyes so dry. But now I just use PLouise. I don't even care. I'm not even pretending anymore. I will use the Juvia's Place, because I bought it, so I'm going to use it. But also, I want to. I have it, so I want to use it. But if I'm not doing like a colorful eye, then I'll use the Juvia's Place for this. So I'm going to go into this palette right now, and the first thing I'm going to do, I think, I'm just going to go in with this very nudie color on the corner here. It is called Just One. Is that what it's called? My this lights up so I could, yeah, Just One. I didn't trust that. It's very warm nude color, but I just want this in here. I'm gonna build up my eye. As I said, I've been watching different drag queens makeup application. There's some really nice techniques, and so I've been trying to like take notes. So today I'm trying to do something. It's inspired by Near Enough on Canada's Drag Race. I have to say, oh gosh, it's taking me a long time to edit Canada's Drag Race episodes 1 and 2, which Wilhelmina and I just reviewed because I'm having technical issues, but also I just find Canada, I don't know, maybe I judge it more harshly, or I'm less judgy with the other countries, but Canada's Drag Race this year is a little rough. Now I'm going to go into Plenty to Serve. It's just this darker biscuity color in the bottom corner. I'm just using a fluffy Doe Color blender. I'm not that interested in this being specific. I'm just trying to build up color. That's why I put that nude down. Excuse me. Oh, woo! That's how I sneeze. That was actually quiet for me. I'm a big loud sneezer. My mom was also a sneeze yeller. Like it's like the first time I ever sneeze in a new environment, I warn them ahead of time. It's like, oh my God, this is coming. Brace yourself. And they're like, and then they hear it. And they're like, a lot. But yeah, the thing I love about this palette is there's so many colors that are tones off of each other that allow for nice, like in my opinion, like a nice blending. And I've been doing a lot of dark to light blending, but when I first did makeup, I always went light to dark because I found when you put the light stuff down first, it allowed for you to kind of blend it out a little easier when you had some lighter stuff for the darker stuff to blend out onto. I find there's less of a fight to break those lines that start to develop up, but I also want to kind of bring this into my nose contour a little. And if I can just bring in different layers of color, then I can build it up without it being like, what's that line doing on your face? I'm so sorry. I'm not reading anything. Oh, the Garfield set. So was the palette any good, or are you just getting the mirror and the bag? Oh, there's a mask. Oh. I love that new Cosmic Brushes palette, the Machina one. The colors are nice, but it's not very unique a color story. I feel like I've got those kind of like I have the Be Perfect. David Burkett sent it to me. I can never remember the name of it, but I know exactly where it is. No, here it is. Rain by Be Perfect. I feel like the colors in here are very similar to that one. Do you know what I mean? Like no offense to Blend Bunny, I think they're a great little company. Um, I just and I really appreciate a matte heavy palette, but I'm good. I don't need a matte heavy palette. I'm good. All right, so now I'm still taking the same brush, and let me just get a little bit of that. And now I'm gonna go into this nice bright orange, which is called Bakery Date. This one here. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, oh, I love it. I already used this palette. I put pictures in the uh, on Instagram, and I just used it like just very general makeup. But I thought it went pretty well. I'm not good at. I'm always so impressed with nude makeup, like just when somebody can recreate all the tonal planes and everything on a face with just skin tones of makeup, especially when it's on a drag queen like RuPaul's makeup. When Matthew Anderson was doing it, it was just hypnotizing. It was so flawless. And I'm not saying that Raven doesn't do a good job. I think she does an excellent job. But I first noticed that kind of makeup blending and application with Matthew Anderson, and I've always tried to kind of do it. I haven't been very successful, but there you go. I'm just saying. Oh, you got notoriously morbid. That's right. I remember you were saying. I don't have a Cosmic Brushes palette yet, Steph, if you can believe it. At the price they are, you'd think I would have had one by now. And to be honest, they're often sold out when I think of it. But yeah, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm missing out, but I would like to try one. I'll get there. Oh, I love those brushes that came with the Maneater set, Martha, Anastasia. I thought they were really. I like. I look. This is one right here. Nope. Nope. Yeah, here's one. It's funny. Most of the ones that I have in here right now are. Here's another one. Are PLouise because I just put them all in there. But I'll use that one. I'm gonna take a smudger. I love a smudger. Smudger. Do I have one? All right. So I won't take a smudger. I'm going to take a pencil. This is a Jessup pencil. I don't know what number. I'm just going to go into, I think, I'm going to go into this color here, which is called Stop for Muffin. Stop for Muffin. I don't know if that's a person or that's the Muffin Crossing. I'm just going to start to build this into my, just start to blend this out. Sorry, I keep trying to. Oh, I'll have to enter the contest, Manuela. Oh, Sarah is talking about how Joan came off in that feud as being envious. Um, I don't know anything about the history of the two of them. There's a lot of stuff in that show that they created, but the true truth of the matter is that Joan Crawford did was the reason that Baby Jane was made, and Joan Crawford was the reason Betty Davis was in it, and she wasn't nominated for an Oscar, and there were a lot of personal issues between the two women. I mean, you know, it's it's interesting. It's certainly it's definitely an opinionated take on the situation for sure. I mean, a lot of what they talk about, like the fact that Joan is portrayed as living in LA at that time. She was living in New York when she made whatever happened to Baby Jane. She'd already sold everything in Hollywood and moved. Um, and she did hold production hostage on Charlotte. Like that did happen. And she did manipulate the Oscars to present for the best director and then to accept for um, Mrs. Mel Brooks. What is her name? Isn't that terrible? I'm so bad with names these days. Ugh, all the intrigue. Um, what is her name? It's terrible. But there were a lot of things like they didn't. There was a lot of stuff that was made up about the relationship for the show, understandably. Um, now I've gone from this color and this color. I'm going to take a jump to this reddy brown. This really nice. What's it called? Uh, hand handle the heat. Both hands. Lift with your knees. I'm trying not to take a lot of time because this is boring. I don't know. I think it's boring. I'm trying not to. I don't know why I'm not trying to say anything. Um, we're all brush whores, Martha Anastasia. I think that's the first thing. When I was in art school, I was a brush whore then too. I think you're always looking for that one brush that's like a magic wand in your hand, and when you find that one, or maybe you find one that's great, and then after a little while, maybe it's not so great. All of a sudden, you're like looking again. You get bored of it. But I do love a brush set. The problem I have is I don't use a lot of the foundation brushes. I'm trying to now. I'm trying to make more of an effort to expand my. I always use a sponge, but I did use a brush the other day, and I liked it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad experience. I'm gonna take a smaller fluffy brush, like a random. Ooh, oh, this is one of my good brushes. I rarely use this, and it's terrible. I really should uh, use it more. This is I can't even see the name now. It's so funny. Bristles Beauty is a Canadian brush company. These are made in Japan, all natural. So they use goat hair. They use vintage brush blocks where they put the hair in and then bind it and get it in the ferrule, and they're all natural. And I don't use them very often because I I normally clean my brushes with rubbing alcohol, and you don't want to do that with natural brushes. You want them to be washed properly and air dry with soap and water. So I'm going in to take whisks, which is a brown, on a small blender, a small little blender, and I just want to start to really deepen out this crease. This brush company. I got 5 brushes from them for $105. And they were all eye ones. Like there's a big blender, this small blender, a really great little smudger brush, an angled brush, and there's one other one I can't remember. And anyway, so I have them all here, but I remember at the time it was like, oh, that's so expensive. But then I checked on Mac's site, and their brushes are all synthetic, and they were the same price, if not more. So I was like, well, these are actually a good bargain because they're natural. So I treated myself. This is a few years ago, and what's funny is I rarely use them because I'm afraid of like ruining them. But it's like, well, you bought them, use them. So I do. I actually the way I have my brushes set up, I have this lovely little makeup bag, and they all go in here. And then what I do is I just kind of, oh, I need a this brush, and so there's one. Like I don't see this. I don't see the handles. I just see the heads of the brush. So I don't know what one I grab. And uh, oftentimes when I'm just looking into the abyss, I do grab a bristles brush. So like I think that they're aesthetically sound brushes, but they're also pleasing. Like they're pleasing to use. So yeah, I think this is going on well. Yeah, I'm a fall person too. I'm a tumble toned. Oh my gosh, you're on your edge of your seat. I hope you're in a comfy chair, Anastasia. Martha Anastasia. Oh my God, Chloe, you have way more brushes than I do. I don't have that many. Although I do, I'm going to take that Maron fluffy brush that has everything. I'm going back into the very lightest orange and the, what is that one called? Handle the Heat. Is that right? Yeah. So I'm just dabbing like into the one and into the other just to get a bit more of a blend here so that I can really. I've been noticing that I'm afraid to take my makeup too far out. So I'm trying these days to kind of use my real estate, as it were. And I just sometimes I kind of, oh, I forgot. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. If you've ever seen the movie Strictly Ballroom, the grandmother at the end of the movie, in the moment where everything is okay, you hear her voice over everything like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Don't be scared. It's the best moment in the whole movie. And then they dance the Paso Doble and they win. Oh, I gave away too much. That was my first Baz Luhrmann film. And then I think I saw after that Romeo and Juliet, and then he did Moulin Rouge, didn't he? Because oh God, Moulin Rouge. I don't care if you liked it or didn't. It was still such an incredible movie. Like just that they made it at all. Gee whiz. And I think it was the last film I think that Nicole Kidman was really great in for me. Like I just find a lot of the other stuff like I don't know, I get so distracted by how she looks and I don't like to be distracted by how she looks. Like I shouldn't that shouldn't be a problem. But unfortunately, I think not only did she do a lot of stuff to her face, but it was so public and there were just she's such a beautiful woman. I think when people who are beautiful, like it's one thing for someone like Joan Rivers who never felt beautiful to have surgeries that she thinks makes her look better. Like you can see where it's coming from, but with Nicole Kidman, like, oh honey. And then you see somebody like Isabella Rossellini or Jamie Lee Curtis or any of these beautiful women who are literally just letting themselves age. Sarah Jessica Parker, I think, looks fabulous. Um, like we've reached that point. I wonder if people even know what an aging person looks like. Do you know what I mean? This seems kind of unnecessarily funny to me. All right, I think I'm just going to go in for the last dark color for this. I'm going to go right into gingerbread, which is this dark, dark color up. Oh, you can't see it. This dark, it's right in the corner. It is of these the darkest, I think. But it'll be interesting to see how it looks in the makeup. Yeah, that looks great. And now, because this is the last thing I'm putting on, I can really draw that dark color out and add more in certain areas, or I feel like there's more control with it. I got back into doing the reverse makeup when I was trying to perfect using pink and orange because they don't look good. You have to really um, be careful how you darken those colors because if you go with black first, it's too much black. You're blending the black always out into these softer colors. So I um I started doing all the pinks in that first, and then going in with darker tones like maroons and blacks last to draw them out and make everything gorge. And it worked. It actually was a turning point for me for makeup because I was so frustrated. Why am I not doing this right? And then I realized, oh, you don't have to do it this way. You can do it however it works. So yeah, and I'm trying also. I when I do my eyes, I try not to put the makeup everywhere. So when I cut the crease, like I don't want to take off a lot of makeup. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather just kind of put the makeup where I want it to be and then clean it up as opposed to putting it everywhere and then taking away where I don't want it. Like that just makes me frustrated. But yeah, I think that looks all right. Don't you think that looks all right? I'm worrying that this might be too orange for my makeup. I mean, my hair. But tough, tough titties. All right. Let's see. Oh, they had this great brush. This is from PLouise. It's a flat top brush. I love these for my eyebrows. So I'm going to go in first of all. I think with sounds dirty gumdrop button. This here. Start my eyebrows with that one right there. Gumdrop button. I wonder if that's something someone's grandmother used to call them. They're all sitting there at P. Louise having a color naming party, and what are you going to call this? Gumdrop button. I mean, it's like a chocolate button, a gumdrop button. I don't think it's the weirdest thing anyone ever said in a crowded room. But if you don't make candy, you probably never heard anyone say gumdrop button before. Because I'm going to I'm going to take a fluffy angled brush, and I'm taking just a neutral. This one's called Snack That. I'm just going to, I just want to blend out the front end of this eyebrow into my nose contour. Oh my God, ever since episode 2 of Canada's Drag Race, I've been whistling Avril Lavigne's song, which is weird because I never whistle in Avril. I've been having a lot of eyebrow issues lately too. I've been trying to. I really like the way Ben de la Creme does her eyebrows. This arched thing that comes right out of her nose contour. I like it on her. I don't know if I've got it down yet, but I do. I do. I think the eyebrow is a little soft, like an arched eyebrow is a little softer on me, which isn't the worst thing. I don't think. Aging with style, can't stop it. Well, good for you. Yeah, this is the thing. I remember like when I started losing my hair, it's like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. When I was quite young in the 70s, I noticed men walking around in the wind with this fin of hair. This was the age of the comb over. At some point, somebody thought it was all right for the part in your hair to slowly migrate to your ear, and it didn't look odd at all. And then you ended up with this mass of wet hair on the top of your head that was literally held there with spit and a dream. And then these men would walk around outside, and the wind would catch it. They'd be like land sharks. It was just for a young person. It was just fascinating to me. Like, why would you? Why? Who thought that looked good? And I remember at that time saying to myself, if I ever lose my hair, I'm just going to cut it off. And so when I did start to lose my hair, I was in my 30s. Like, it was 35 when I started to lose my hair. And I was on the, I was doing a small part on the movie It Takes Two with the Olsen twins. If you've ever seen the movie, there's a scene when the two twins switch places, and Philip Bosco, the butler, comes down the hall, and there's a hairdresser in the hallway who's on the edge because this little hellion won't let him do her hair. That's me. So when I was on that movie, the guy who was doing makeup, they just put a very light base on me. He said, "You don't need a lot of makeup." They turned me around and took this brown pot and started doing this on the back of my head. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just covering your bald spot." It's the first time I'd heard anyone say bald spot. And it wasn't a big one. I remember holding up the mirror and looking, but I had never seen it. Or, I'm also 6'4", so not a lot of other people had seen it either. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't an easy thing to notice. So I ended up cutting my hair short, like really quite short after that. You can't fight it. You can't fight it, honey. You can't fight it. When love goes wrong, nothing goes right. That's another movie I watch when I'm doing drag makeup. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes with Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell. Oh, the last of the big shouldered broads. Nobody watches The Chaperone. That's why I'm so good for this job. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my eyebrows either because the wig comes down, but I think that's all right. It's good enough. It's all right, by and large. Ooh, I know what I want. I have this lovely little pot of Krylon Clown White. I've had it forever, and it just lasts forever. You don't need a lot of it. It's just a great color to clean up an eyebrow. Like we said, you're better off dead when love and lost its glow. So take this down in black and white. Oh, am I going to lose my monetization? Am I singing? Love goes wrong, nothing goes right. Touche. My mother and brother both went gray very early. Oh, Darcy's here. Hey, Darcy. I filmed the unboxing on my Patreon page. I have it unedited right now, but I'm having technical issues with my Premiere program, and it won't let me edit it. But I will have it edited very shortly. It'll be up this week. Also, this week I'm sewing for Carlotta Carlisle, fabulous drag queen here in Toronto. I have to do a couple of things for her before the 11th, so that's also going to be. I'm going to have to schedule my editing and filming around that, which won't be too bad, but I just want to make sure that I leave enough time for Carlotta to get stuff done because she's going out of town on the 11th, and then after the 11th, I'll have some time to really. I've got to edit. I've got to edit stuff. I've got to film stuff. I've got this fabulous uh, makeup party interview with a really great comedian here in Toronto who's now directing. His name is Hunter Collins, and I have this all ready to go. I just have to edit it, and I just haven't had time, and yada yada yada. And so, finger dues crossed. We will get that all sorted. Now, what am I looking for? Oh, I know. Just 8 bars and off. Nothing goes right. All right. Just a little setting spray on the brows. I feel like I've never been in my office. The other day, so I was filming with Wilhelmina, and it's like I've never filmed before. I went to do my filming, and when I was editing everything, I realized that I hadn't plugged in the microphone, but the camera recorded, but the sound is awful. This is my very good friend, Misconception. She follow her on Instagram. She's often posting pictures of costumes that I made, although I made them quite a while ago now. She has some fabulous, a great team in Puerto Vallarta that works with her when she's there through the winter. So um, I always like to see what they've got going on. It's nice to see stuff where I wasn't involved in making it. Like it's just like, oh, look at what they're doing. I think when I'm doing it, by the time I'm done something, I don't want to look at it. You know what I mean? Uh, Although Carlotta Carlisle, I really enjoy sewing for her because she is very much a classic vintage Hollywood glamour type. She loves fashion, Dior, Givenchy. Everything that I've done for her so far has been a copy of an actual labeled designer. A few things now have been stuff that we did for that were made for Audrey Hepburn by Givenchy, but we did the Breakfast at Tiffany's dress, and then we did an Yves Saint Laurent 1992 opera cape cloak that we did an emerald green. And the funny thing is, she just wears the hell out of this. She loves it. And then I was out for coffee with Misconception, and she said, "Oh yeah, I haven't," because she's out of town. She used to be always in town, working at all the clubs, and now she's only in town like maybe for Christmas a couple of weeks, and that's about it. And so she's saying, "Oh yeah, I was checking out Carlotta. She got this great green cloak. It's just so gorgeous." I said, "Yeah, I made that." She's like, "You made it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, who do you think she's going to get to make that?" It was fun to do because it's this taffeta cloak that's like it's 2 meters long. Like there's 2 meters of fabric lengthwise, but there was still, I think, so 2 meters, and then the panel, it was a very wide panel. Like I would say it was maybe a meter wide. The panel, 30 inches, 60 centimeters, or 100 centimeters. But 5 panels all around. So two fulls in the front, and then 3 in the back for the fullness. And I hand hemmed it, but I also put weights in the hem, curtain weights, uh, which you do. It's taffeta. You don't want it blowing up over your head. I mean, you'd think you wouldn't, but you know. And I love that. Like she said, "Would you put curtain weights in it?" And I love that she knew what a curtain weight was. Like there's just some things. Like when I say to her, she brings me something, and I'll go, "Oh, that fabric's going to need this." She's like, "Okay." Like she gets it. Sometimes you can't sew all the fabric on the machine. Sometimes it has to be sewn by hand. That's why it's couture, darling. Couture, darling. Um, and I just appreciate that. I feel like there's some tricks that I get to pull out of my dance bag for Carlotta because that's what she wants. But it's also an aesthetic that I appreciate. So, like with Misconceptions costumes, she did a lot of dancing. She does a lot of it. She still does. I'm not saying she does it anymore, but so the consideration with her was always she needed to be able to move. So she never wore like corsets or body shapers. And also, we developed this Russian doll approach to her costume change where she comes out in all the costumes and then takes one off at a time. So she can't really change her shape for her show costumes. So she does all that for like her one-off looks. But but it's funny to see her in some of the older stuff. Like when I recreated the witch from the Wizard of Oz, like I recreated the actual costume from the movie. Like I looked it up. I found sketches. That's the kind of thing I do when I work in wardrobe. I worked on the movie of the week. I was telling somebody this online yesterday. Jacqueline Suzanne's story. Michelle Lee. She was on Knots Landing or something. Famous actress in the 60s and 70s, and then on television later. She produced this story. She got the rights to it, produced it. She played Jacqueline Suzanne, and I was doing wardrobe on it. And one of the things we had to do on the show was recreate a scene from Valley of the Dolls. And the scene we did was the bathroom scene with Susan Hayward and Patty Duke fighting in the bathroom. And I recreated that starburst dress that she wears, a starburst pleated dress. And what's funny is I was working with some people who were very established wardrobe people, and she was having a lot of trouble with the starburst pleat. And I said, "Well, why don't you just grab it here and cut it there and there?" And I do a lot of draping. I like to drape. I prefer that over drafting patterns because I feel sometimes, even if you know how to draft excellently, it's still, you just have to fit it on the body. So I find doing the draping takes it there. So we put this thing on, and the only thing it needed was that I hand sewed it up the back so that all the pleats met. That was the only thing that was fussy with it. And also needed a zipper in there that you couldn't see. So, but I love stuff like that. The Susan Hayward suit that we did was 3 layers of fabric to recreate the look of that fabric. We couldn't find a nice rusty beaded gorgeous satiny fabric, so we found a really good satin in the fabric, and then we found this one lace, and then we found this beaded lace, and by layering them all we created that. And I love doing that. That's a very theater thing to do. When you work in theater, you'll layer fabrics to make it look like something else. All right, so now that I've got my primer on. I'm going to take, what shimmer in here do I want to use? Um, I'm going to stick, I think I'm going to stick to this one, this gold one down here, just because it's nice and bright. I'm going to take a PLouise concealer brush because it's flat. And this is flaky. There's some fall. I try and press it on because my concealer's still kind of wet. I have to press it on first, and then in the second application, then I swipe it. But look at that. Oh, so pretty. So much gold. And then let me do the other side. Oh, and the Wicked Witch of the West dress, Sarah, was like a turn of the century. Like it was an actual period piece. And back then, like Victorian around there, you'd have like a blouse and a skirt separate. So you would have maybe your good skirt for church and then your other skirt for the day. And you might have two different tops. And they would all go together, but you had like your good one and your bad one, and maybe then your underpinnings all underneath it. But it was I used to work on Road to Avonlea, and I did a lot of I made a lot of the babies' clothes on that. I also did knitting for the show. Whenever the characters, like say, maybe had some hand knitting that they were walking around with, I was the one that knit it. At least for seasons 4 and 5. I'm going now into a Star Baker, which is this gold up here. And again, I'm just going to put that. Ooh, it's very chunky. I don't know if you can see, which I like, but it also just means I have to watch putting it on because it's going to flake all over me, which it just did, which is okay. I'm not mad at it. But I also don't want to waste it either. I my series, That's So Wilma, I'm actually going to be doing some stuff with Candice. The hard thing for me is often to show you how to sew, I need to hold stuff up, and I can't really do it on myself because it's awkward. So I talked to Candice, and so I'm going to make her a couple of things, and we'll do it on camera as a like a project. I did a dress for a friend of mine, Kathy Sparkles, who a lot of the people in the drag community know. I'm now going to go into Cookie Cutter, which is this dark sparkle here. Not just using the same brush. I'm just going to put it right at the very outside edge. But I just made her a dress, and like I literally, she said, "Do you have time to make me a dress?" I said, "Well, if you can come over, can you spend the day with me?" Like, I think we ended up a 7-hour day, but I think we only sewed for maybe 5 of them. But I made the dress literally. I'd sew a bit, hold it on to her, make sure the darts were right, correct them, so that by the time it was done, there were no alterations. It was just perfectly fitted to her body. And it looked great. She looked great. It was a great outfit. I was very pleased. Um, I like sewing like that. I like it when it's instantly, gratifyingly fantastique. I don't do well with stuff that fails. I'm just going back in with some of the darker tones to blend this all out. But yeah, I've been sewing. I've been thinking of, like, the hard thing is when I'm sewing, I'm not in drag, and I don't necessarily need to be in drag to sew. But what I think might be good is if I could do the camera like above or something where it's just showing the fabric. So while I'm creating, say, an outfit for Carlotta or something, I can show you what I'm doing and teach you maybe something about what I don't know. And then put on a fit when I have a face on, like do a little intro to the video. Um, I just need to schedule my time better. So hopefully I'll hopefully if I'm working with Candice too, like that might help me get into a rhythm with it. Yeah, I think this looks all right. I mean, it's very neutral. Now we're going to put on some eyeliner. This is the other thing. I just hate all the eyeliner I have. Oh, let me put my beauty mark on right now. I can hear Leon in the back of my head. Where's the beauty mark? There it is. All right. All right. I have the pen the eyeliner pen that I've been having the most luck with lately has been Beauty Moon Cosmetics, and I don't know what it is. Why I'm not having better luck. Actually, you know what I'm going to start doing after this is I'm going to start using my Artitude Cosmetic or graphic liner. But the reason that I kind of have avoided using it is because it's water activated. Now, I use a Mayron mixing agent that's waterproof, so it should be fine. But I still worry about it like running down my face if I'm sweating. So I'm kind of reluctant to rely on it, but I do like the liners. Just water activated and me aren't best friends. It's why I don't use the Elmer's glue when I'm performing. I use Prozaid because the glue will pop. Like I'll actually feel my eyebrows popping off my forehead because of everything. um, I feel like because we're doing PLouise, I'm going to grab the PLouise Droplet of Magic palette. There's this black. Look how dark that black is right there. And then on this side, there's a black, but it has red in it. I don't want that. So I'm just going to use the black. I'm just going to use a nice little smudger. You heard me. It's a nice little smudger from Quo, which is a company that Shoppers Drug Mart, just a drugstore chain here in Canada. It's a set. Yeah, I don't mind that there's not a black in that palette because I have a lot of blacks, good blacks. But that's the only thing I find sometimes like the idea of stopping what I'm doing and like going through another palette and opening one and like, I need this shade from here. Can be a bit of a drag, but you know, nothing I own is on fire, so it's not the worst thing that could be going on in the world. This is why I say it helps if you can put your makeup on with both hands. Listen to me, I'm still whistling Avril Lavigne. So have we all been watching Candice Drag Race? I have watched it. I've got episodes 1 and 2 ready to review, and I think I'll do episodes 3 and 4 together. I think I'm going to be able to do them all with Wilhelmina. She's not that busy over Christmas, so we're going to try and take advantage of that. Um, but we'll see how it goes. I like Canada's Drag Race a little bit better now that it's been on a week or two. But I did not enjoy that first episode, let me tell you what. And I'm fairly disappointed with the cast. There's just a lot of people on there where it's like, wow, honey, that's a little rough. What's happened? Good queens though, like people wise, like there's some great personalities. I really love Aurora Matrix. She's from Toronto. I've never seen her perform, but I like her. She's fun. I didn't think I would like Kitten Caboodle as much as I do. She seems to be a lot of fun. And who else? Who else is fun? I really like Near Enough. I didn't think I would, but I actually quite like how self-aware she is. Like that first episode, she was very aware that she wasn't doing as well as she would have liked. And I like that because I think it's very easy for people to just, oh, I killed that. It's like, well, it's dead, that's for sure. Whatever's going on. This is Juvia's Place white eyeliner. I'm just trying to use it up. It's not bad, but I don't like it. It's not great. I have to say, I was very surprised. I know we're on episode 3 now, but I was very surprised that Venus won that first, well, was in the top for that first episode. I was just so surprised by that because it's not that she looked bad or did, but I thought there were some better queens, or at least visually. Like I thought Kiki Ko and is it Beyonce Chanel or Johnsey Chanel, whatever? I can't remember. It's still too new. But I thought a couple of the queens had better drag than Venus. I mean, if all it was a look, I'm kind of glad that uh, Denim won because I bet you if that's what all of her drag looks like, I bet you she has a lot of challenges with people, because it's very specific what she does, and I'm quite excited by it. But I wonder how often people are. Do you know what I mean? It might be too different for some people. Is she a favorite, or is she just from Vancouver and you think she's a favorite? I like the golden beaver idea. I don't know what that rose thing had to do with anything. I I think it was just so they could all say rosebud a lot. It just seemed unnecessary to me. I'm just using some of the gold highlighter in the highlight palette from PLouise just to set this white. I could have a little shimmer. So I'm just finding all eyeliners these days, they just disappoint me. not getting a sharp line. I mean, I know the skin under my eyes is crepey and everything, but I still should get some kind of sharp line in there. It's very disappointing, disconcerting. So I'm just going to go into that orange again. Has anyone not gotten their flu or COVID shots? I mean, I'm not judging, and if you don't want to say, not a big deal. But I got both of mine. I was talking to a friend of mine. I never have a reaction to inoculations. I never get sick. I never have like a reaction. I don't have to take days off. Like I even forget that I had it done until like I move, and then it's like, oh, my arm's so. Oh, right, I had my shot. But Candice said that she went yesterday to get her. She got all of her. I think she said she got two flu shot and a COVID, or maybe it was just the flu shot. I don't remember. But yeah, apparently it knocked her out. And she sounded just horrible when she called. So I apologize if I'm not able to keep up with any of the conversations. Oh, I see. Oh, you think she's a favorite with the judges? Yeah. Just putting a bit more depth under here. All right. Now I have to figure out. I'm so sorry, you guys. I thought everything was right here in front of me. And of course, nothing is. I can't find nothing. I'm so sorry. My mute button was on. How rude. I am so sorry. Has it been on the whole time? Have you not heard me talk once this whole time? Ugh, I'm so sorry. Um, yeah, I love this wig. This is my uh one of the first wigs Denise ever did for me, and it's just so beautiful. But I have to it's got all of these pins in it holding these curls in, but I think it needs to be, I need to reset it and spray it. And there's a hairnet holding all of this in the back, but I've got one curl poking out. So I just gotta give it some love, give it some time. I put it in this box. It lives in its own box on its own head. And then there's a hat in here. Oh, this is another bow. This is another bow if I want to put a white one. But yeah, so it lives in here. I have a nice bag that protects the whole thing. But there you go. Yeah, this is my favorite. I like, now that I have the Lucy wig on, I wonder, is this too orange, the makeup too orange for the wig? Do you know what I mean? Um, like I could have gone darker with the eyebrows, I think. But I still, oh, I just poked a hairpin right in my head. Here. Can you hear me now? Am I good now? Oh, for about 20 minutes? Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have moved the mic and touched it because I have a mute button on there, and when it blinks, it tells me that I'm crazy that I have no sense. I love this blush. You know what I wish I had done, and maybe we'll just do it just now. I have a gorgeous coral from PLouise in the liquid cheeks. I'm just going to take a little, because these are very pigmented, but I'm just going to take a little bit and just put a little. Can you see that? Is that different than there? Because it's quite dark, but I love that. I don't use this stuff enough because I don't, it's new to me. The product is new to me, but it does dry down to a powder finish, so you can do it last. But if I were using, especially this intense a color, I would put it on first and then powder over it so that it's just there in the underbase. But yeah, yeah, that's a little better. I like that liquid blush. I have to remind myself that I have the liquid blushes. Also, this blush came, it was very blush heavy, the Advent calendar, but I don't have a problem with that because I don't have a lot of blushes. Teresa Mulhern sent me the Juicy Cheeks palette from Blend Bunny, which I love. I love because that's an orange one too, and I don't have those colors. But I also have a palette of blushes, 3 blushes from PLouise that I got in one of the budget boxes, and I love those colors. They are great. But the 2 blush palettes that both have, is it 8? Yeah, 8 colors. Like I don't have these colors. And in a lot of cases for this, I can use these as contours or bronzers as a drag queen because I go under the bright lights and everything goes lighter. And look at this; these are great contoury, warm. These tones here are great cheek tones. But this one came in as well, and it's a cream blush with the mirror, and on the other side is a powder in a pink. And these colors, like I love these colors, but I don't know if they necessarily go with this. But as a ginger, yeah, just a little. Oh, I just came in from outside. It was very cold. Ooh. But that was also part of the Advent calendar. And the only thing that I don't like about this is that it looks so cheap. Also, in the Advent calendar, this was in the train on the 24th day. I think that's a cheap thing to have in this one little add-on section of the calendar that it was the only thing in, especially when PLouise had their first body mist fragrance. This could have been in the train, and as for people that love perfume, this would have been much more interesting as a standalone product. But I quite like this. Yeah, this is nice. When Denise sends me her wigs, she does a mix of Calvin Klein Happy and another fragrance. I can't remember what the other fragrance is, but she sent me the Happy. And her wigs, when you open the box, they smell so good. This has a similar, not it's there's a powdery tone to this that's different, but this was in the Advent Calendar too. I'm not a huge perfume person, but I will definitely give that a couple of tries. Um, I'm trying to think if there was anything else in the palette. There's a face clay that I haven't tried. There is a lip oil and balm, which I use those because they actually are quite moisturizing, but I just hate them. There was a vibrating eye cream. You heard me. It vibrates the applicator. I don't see why. There's no point to it, but it's a nice eye cream. And then there's a rich cream, I guess, for your face that I haven't tried yet. But the face wash is really good. And I have to say, there are two quads in the palette, and the only reason I'm giving them away is I'm not a big fan of using quads. I find them a little awkward. But also, the colors that are in them aren't in the big palette that's in the Advent Calendar, but they're very similar. And I just feel like I don't need, that's a lot of overkill. Like there's 50 shades in the big palette. I'm good. You see this one girl bouncing. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Karine. Thank you very much. Oh, Val is here. How are you, darling? And Darcy. Oh, I look at me. Oh, thanks, Darcy. This is, it's very hard for me to do natural makeup, like or neutral tone makeup. But I have to say, I'm so amazed when I see makeup artists do like a wedding face with just browns and tones like that. I don't know why. I need some color. I need like a chartreuse or a cantaloupe, something in there. But yeah, sorry, trying to. There we go. Oh, thanks, Martha. Beautiful. Yeah. This lip works with this makeup. Would I use this lip with other makeup? Mm, I don't know. The lip gloss, I love it. I'm going to tell you. The only other lip gloss, in all honesty, that I've ever used that it doesn't distract me while I have it on is Saints Angel Sinners. What is this one called? Savage, the pink one. And this is where these two lip glosses are neutral lip glosses with a glitter in them. So this is the gold one. It has a gold coloring to it, but it actually isn't that gold. It's just that the glitter in it's gold. And then this is the silver one. This is the Saints Angel Sinners one. Again, it's clear, but it's a pink clear with a pink glitter in it. It's so beautiful. I could die. My other favorite lip gloss is from Juvia's Place. Here's one of them. It's their gold one. I don't know what it's called. It's electric. It's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I'm quite a fan of Juvia's Place. So I don't talk about them too much because I don't want people to think that I'm like a secret agent for them or something. I'm not. I just like them. They're a good company. But every company that I talk about, whether they send me anything in PR or not, if I didn't like them, I wouldn't talk about them. Some companies I buy stuff from on my own. Some companies I'm lucky enough that they'll send me something here and there. I've also had such great just community support from so many of especially the independent makeup companies out there. So if you guys are looking to do any makeup shopping this coming holiday, take a walk down the wild side and go with an independent company. In America, I would highly recommend Saints Angel Sinners. I would also, they have an Etsy store. If you go to their Instagram account, they have links to everything there. Also, I really love Rude Cosmetics in the States. They're just like a better color pop, a conscientious color pop. Do you know what I mean? They have a lot of products and a lot of stuff. They release a lot, but it's not ad nauseum like color pop. And I do use a lot of I have one of their setting sprays I'm using right now, but I don't remember where I put it. I can't find anything. Also in Britain, Beauty Moon Cosmetics, they're an independent brand. Artitude Cosmetics. My favorite drag palette is from Artitude Cosmetics. I'm trying to think. I think PLouise is considered an independent brand because they're not like a huge conglomerate, but they're almost, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But I do like PLouise. I really like Beauty Bay and Be Perfect in England as well. They're great formulas. But my favorite for pigment, price, and payoff on the face is Juvia's Place. Every one of their palettes, you can literally dupe. If you've seen a great palette with some good color, you're going to get better color and more vibrant pigmentation from Juvia's Place. I don't, especially their mattes. I'm not sure what their shimmers are like compared to other companies because some people spend a lot of time on their shimmers. I don't know, but I would definitely check out Juvia's Place. If you are in the States, you can go to Ulta. Is it Ulta? They're a drugstore brand, Juvia's Place. Like they're actually considered a drugstore brand because they're in a drugstore. I wish they were in a drugstore here in Canada. We have kimchi at Shoppers Drug Mart, but I don't like kimchi's makeup. Martha Anastasia, what did I say? Oh, when I didn't have the microphone on, I said hateful things about everybody. So there you go. What's the time? What's going on? It is now 3:16. We have been on the air for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm very happy. I think that went very well. Nobody got hurt. I got my nothing. I got I was able to get through this with uh, without Candice. Don't tell her. Tell her it was horrible. Tell her I had the mic off. Tell her I couldn't answer your questions. That some of you are still wandering aimlessly, waiting for answers. Tell her that she was missed. I will, but I want to try and do another one of these before Christmas, or maybe for Christmas. Christmas Eve is a Sunday. New Year's Eve is a Sunday. I do live chats with my Patreoners. I still haven't confirmed if we're going to do anything there. But if we don't do anything on Christmas Eve and or New Year's Eve, maybe in lieu of that, in between there, that stretch between Christmas and New Year's, we'll do a live with Candice. Finger dues crossed. We'll see. But either way, I really appreciate you guys spending the time. I hope you had a lot of fun. These products were only available in the PLouise Advent Calendar. Again, David Burkett, my enabler, so supportive. This was totally worth it. Totally worth it. If I could have afforded to buy this and I'd open it, I would have been so happy. Because a lot of the times I find as a drag queen, mystery boxes, advent calendars, they have to cater to a common denominator, which usually means, withering Caucasians. But this was not the case for this. Although it is a neutral palette, I still have drag makeup on. I think that's a good look. I also changed the style of my makeup a little and followed more of what Near Enough is doing. I'm really enjoying how she's putting on her makeup. I've been kind of freeze framing on her a couple of times. So I don't know if you noticed that it looks a little different in the application. I see it a little. Not much, but I can see I noticed what I did differently, and I actually do like it. I think it looks all right, especially with this wig, because this wig comes down so low. But I don't have a problem with that. So there you go. I'm doing another live this coming Sunday with my Patreoners. I will have episode 1 and 2 of Canada's Drag Race up this week. I'm hoping to have episodes 2 and 3 up next week. I also am in the middle of doing episodes 7 and 8 of UK, and then I'll do 9, 10, the semifinals and the finale in one go as well, just to get through them. And I apologize that I haven't been quicker with that. I've just been so busy, but I'm hoping that once we kind of get through the holidays, I'll be able to catch up and focus and be a person again. Anyway, I really appreciate your support and your friendship and all your comments. And if you gave this video a thumbs up, thank you very much. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. And until next time, miss me. Mwah! Seriously. Okay, now how do I turn this on? How do I turn this on? Oh, how do I turn this on? Bye, bye, whatever.